Atmiya Bandhu, Namaskar. We all talk about the degrading education system. We all know that the education system in our country is not good enough. It is not giving us values. It is not giving us multiple dimensional growth. It is not giving us multiple skills. It is not evolutionary in nature. It doesn't facilitate the individual to develop into the potential that he has got. All of this is not by default, it is by design. The roots of this design of education was laid out in one of the letters written by the person who was responsible for the destruction of the Indian education system, Lord Macaulay, to his father. I will read out a letter. I'll pull out the letter and read it out to you so that you will understand what is the cause of all this degradation that we are looking in our country in terms of the Indian mind and particularly the Hindu mind. I'll read out the letter. You will understand what is it that I'm implying, and then I'll give my concluding remarks. Indian education roots. Macaulay's letter to his father is the article that from which I'll be reading out the letter of Lord Macaulay to his father. To Zachary Macaulay, 12th October 1836. My dear father, in a few months, I hope, indeed in a few weeks, we shall send up the penal code to government. We have got rid of the punishment of death except in cases of aggravated treason and willful murder. We shall also get rid indirectly of everything that can properly be called slavery in India. There will remain civil claims on particular people for particular services, which claims may be enforced by civil action. But no person will be entitled on the plea of being the master of another to do anything to that other which it would be an offense to do to a free man. This was a small part that he writes in this letter about the Indian Penal Code that he gave in 1835, in 1835-36. Now, the next part is very important. Our English schools are flourishing wonderfully. We find it difficult, indeed, at some places impossible, to provide instructions for all who want it. At the single town of Hooghly, 1400 boys are learning English. The effect of this education on the Hindus is prodigious. No Hindu who has received an English education ever continues to be sincerely attached to his religion. Some continue to profess it as a matter of policy, but many profess themselves pure deists, and some embrace Christianity. The case with Mohammedans is very different. The best educated Mohammedan often continues to be a Mohammedan still. The reason is plain. The Hindu religion is so extravagantly absurd that it is impossible to teach a boy astronomy, geography, natural history without completely destroying the hold which that religion has on his mind. But the Mohammedan religion belongs to a better family. It has very much in common with Christianity, and even where it is most absurd, it is reasonable when compared with Hinduism. It is my firm belief that if our plans of education are followed up, there will not be a single idolater among the respectable classes in Bengal 30 years hence. And this will be effected without any efforts to proselytize, without the smallest interference with religious liberty, merely by the natural operation of knowledge and reflection. I heartily rejoice in this prospect. Do you see what Macaulay wants to do? Macaulay is rejoicing the prospect of the destruction of the Hindu faith. He is rejoicing the prospect of the deconversion, or you would say withdrawal of the Hindu mind from his culture, from his civilizational identity. It was the design created by Lord Macaulay to destroy the Hindu mind and to destroy everything that is Hindu by the imposition of English centric education. The article, I want you to look at a few more things in the article. Unless we correct the way we educate our kids, there is no hope. This system is designed to generate aliens and stupid protagonists. The roots of the Hindu destroying education lies in this idea that Macaulay brought into the system in India. Macaulay's children is the mind disorder of which we are all afflicted to the different degrees due to our exposure to education system designed by Macaulay to produce slaves. This was a system that was designed to produce slaves for the British Empire. The British did not come here just to loot. It is a declared objective that the British say that they came here to civilize the uncivilized Hindus, the uncivilized Indians, the nation which has an ancient history of thousands of years, the civilization which was flourishing even before England or the Britishers came out of the jungles, was declared to be uncivilized, and these Britishers wanted to teach civilization. They just did not think about the loot of our country. They wanted to make India as like themselves. They wanted homogenization of culture. Where there is an attempt to homogenize, there will be destruction of diversity. The severe syndrome is not just the love of the West or of English, but rather a blind contempt for India's own history and traditions. This hateful contempt is a corrosive acid that destroys some of the mind's complex instrumentation. It leads to mind blindness that shows up in behavior, even unrelated to things Indian. This Macaulay induced seed that has gone into the minds of Indians and especially Hindus makes our people question and challenge everything that is Hindu. How do we go out and criticize our own practices, criticize our own culture, criticize our own traditions? How the idea of caste that has been dug deep into the minds of the Indians, the Hindus, is still playing in the minds of the Hindus, and people are continuing to still divide Hindus on the basis of castes. Dear Hindu, if you do not wake up, if you do not realize that this is the culture which professes, this is the culture which imbibes the value of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and inclusivity, Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti, if we don't work to protect this dharma, there will be no humanity left on the planet to accept people, to let people do what they feel is right, and let people go on the path of exploration of the truth. If truth is to be told by somebody and believed by everybody else, there is no meaning for truth. Truth is to be realized by everybody that pursues the realization of truth. Everybody who wants to understand what truth is given an opportunity in the Hindu Dharma, is given an opportunity in the Indian civilization to pursue his own path or her own path to the realization of truth. And if we don't protect this Dharma, if we don't protect the Hindu Dharma, which was designed to be destroyed by Macaulay long back, we will not be left with anything that will lead to inclusivity in the world. Inclusivity, acceptance is exclusively Hindu idea. It is an idea that comes from the Indian civilization. So please wake up and protect Dharma. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharma protects the one who protects it. Dharma does not come and hold a sword to protect you. Dharma will give you an ecosystem, will give you an environment, will give you the space where everybody can flourish. And only when a Dharma that is inclusive, is flourishing, is surviving, there will be humanity left on this planet. Dear Hindu, if you don't do something every day to protect what is the most beautiful idea that this humanity has ever come up with, the idea of the Sanatan, the idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the idea of Ekam Satvipraha Bahuda Vadanti, the Indian cultural, civilizational value systems, we will not have anything left to call that which is ours in a few generations. So wake up intellectually, physically, monetarily, do something to survive, do something to save the civilizational values of our country. Support the individuals and institutions which are working towards the protection of Dharma. It is a collective effort that is required. It is not the governments or it is not a few individuals or a few institutions that can do this mammoth task of protecting the Dharma from the onslaught that has been going on for 1,000 years or more. It is for every Hindu to do it. It is for every Indian who finds connection with this, with the culture, with the civilizational values that this land is attached to, that this land has inherently in it. It is for every individual who connects himself or herself to the land of India, Bharat, for every individual to do something to work towards the protection and the propagation of the Dharma, that is the Dharma of humanity, that is the Sanatana Dharma. Namaskar.